Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Chris with CLS Paranormal. Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. In this video, we traveled all the way to Bisbee, Arizona, and we decided we would stop at the Queen Mine. We got a tour of it, and the place was absolutely awesome. This was a really good tour. We were really happy we stopped. It was a long tour too. It wasn't short. Some of these, they cut them really short. They're like 10, 15 minutes long. This one was over 40 minutes. This place was super exciting. A lot of cool history. The tour guides were really nice. Everything was super fun. We definitely had a blast making this video. So with that said, guys, if you want to get a hold of us, you can get a hold of us at clsparanormal@gmail.com or reach out to us on the social medias on any of the platforms. We will always get back to you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Remember to please like and subscribe.
Everything I'm going to say is on that green and white sign right there. When I ring the bell on the train, it means it's about to move. Keep your feet on the running boards and keep your hands and legs in for safety right there. Also, if you drop anything, we'll stop and pick it up, but don't pick it up yourself, guys, right there. Copper Queen Mine, you might want to get that 1915 up there, guys. This is one of the later things they did in Bisbee. They first started mining this mountain way back in the 1870s. But by 1915, the copper ore bodies were so far back and up in this mountain, they needed a main haulage level. So what we're going on is a haulage level, but we'll definitely, no mineralization on the level, but we'll definitely check places out. We'll be making 2 stops basically, well 3 right there. I'll stop 150 feet in. Make sure you guys don't need to bail out right there. You know, that's the narrows and darkest part of the tour. Then we'll go way back to the 1500. We'll never drop you down or take you up. It's a nice flat horizontal ride. We'll talk about copper mining back there in Bisbee from right there in 1911 to 1975. We'll come back out. We'll go up into an old spoke before we get out. That's 18 meters stuff. Everybody feeling pretty good?
Yeah.
All right, we'll head on in then.
Yeah, we're super excited.
Make sure that black cat is not around there under the train. Okay.
He'll follow me home.
I don't know. It's a new cat, so we'll see. But let me do a little check under here. Make sure he's not under here. See, under the train, I think he took off all right.
Well, I must have 10 black cats.
10?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I got 16 altogether. Shut the door behind us. One of my compadres, they're sleeping up there and they didn't do it. Keep people just randomly walking in here. Oh. Cool, isn't it?
One second.
Nice.
It's nice and quiet in here.
Smells like rock.
I love to smell a rock. In the morning.
Nice. No road. Okay. This is the narrowest and darkest part of the tour right here, guys. It gets better lit and a little wider after this. We stop here to make sure everybody's feeling okay. Little speech, guys. Everything in here is a real deal. This mine shut down for the last time in the 1920s. They stopped maintaining it in 1945. Little railroad cars you're riding on, guys, they're called man cars. They're 1920 vintage. And both motors I have in here today are 1945. So a lot of antique stuff down here. I'm a 1959 model myself, so I'm an antique too. Now, don't look around for any pretty silver or gold, guys. Just a haulage tunnel getting back in here. I can actually see a bat right there. I haven't seen a bat in here in a long time, so it must be a cold weather bat.
Nice.
They're migrating through here. They don't live here, but they migrate through here. Everybody feeling okay?
Yeah, we love it. We're ready.
We're going right down to where that red light is at. We're going to go right down the incline. I'm going to do a few things I don't do normally here, but unfortunately we'll have to do them kind of quick.
All right.
Something different down here anyway. That shot is worth 1,000 words going down to the tunnel right there. Something we don't normally do, guys, but this will make a really good thing for your film right here. This is an old incline shaft. This is part of the original Copper Queen mine built in 1877. So what that means is the tunnel we're standing in 1915, this didn't exist when this tunnel was here, the incline. Went right back up on the other side to the surface back in the 1870s right there. They would have a small steam hoist up there with an iron cable on it, running all the way down to that ore car right there. They were dropping ore from above, filling up that car. They would signal by pulling a bell and a rope. A guy on the hoist would bring that rock up, dump it, and send it back down.
Wow.
On your left-hand side, you see a set of steps over there. That's called the manway. So what that means is, guys, those men would get up the bottom like Tombstone Canyon in 1877. They're living on, just there's nothing here in Bisbee in 1877. They had little dugouts in the side of the mountain, maybe sleeping under a few pieces of tin, a couple of tents, something like that. They'd eat their breakfast, walk up the side of this hill, walk down that stairway, and commence a 10-hour shift down there, guys.
Wow.
Hauling ore out from the men working up above right there. Questions right now?
Wow, it's amazing.
Old-time stuff, it really is right there. Of course, there were timber, guys. We replaced the timber exactly like it was before. This is all what they call square sets, 10 by 10s, with a double ring above to support the ground from collapsing down below.
Wow, look at the size of those.
They're massive.
That's amazing.
Look at my nice self-made antique gates for this place too, right there. Patterned after an old underground shaft in Bisbee. So there, they do stuff like this. See, everything we do down here, because we're constantly maintaining this place, but we build it just like everything we do new is just like it was back when this was operating back in the day. So
That is cool.
all right, let's head on down.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Nice.
That wooden door is a new one, but it was built like an original, what they call air doors. They were used to control the drafts in the mine right here. You need to get air to one place and shut it or open it, whatever they need to do right there. Also for fire protection too. Start up mine fire protection. gonna walk up these steps and take a look at a real old 1880s mining area here.
Oh my
Again,
God.
this area we were going to was done, mined out way before this tunnel was ever down here. You can follow me up, please.
Draft.
Yeah, I just got a heavy draft right here.
That's some outside air coming in. It's sure for ventilation. It sure is. That's not natural.
I'll look to your left, Earl. Oh wow, look above you.
Nice.
Wow. Seems like there's a subwoofer outside.
Oh, look over there. Yeah, that's my ex-partner standing up there.
Yeah.
He's retired. He hangs out once in a while. This area right here, folks, in mining language, it's called a stope. S-T-O-P-E, like stop with the E on the end of it. That means in mining terms, an area that's been mined out or mining actively. Again, guys, this stuff here is 1880s. What that means is, folks, no modern equipment. Had very little, modern technology out here in the 1880s. It was all done by hand, hammer and chisel, and powder to blow this rock out of here. Again, that tunnel down there didn't exist when the men were working here. So if we turn around and look up above that wooden structure, you can see the entry shaft right up in there. That goes about 400 feet to the top of the side of the mountain above us, guys.
400 feet?
Yeah.
Wow.
About 400 feet long right there. We have blocked off now for ventilation. We have a ventilation duct coming through there. We have blocked off so people don't come down here and get free tours from us, man. Right there. Now to move this rock out of this place, folks, in 1880, basic tools for that man to drill a hole for the dynamite was nothing more than a hammer and steel chisel right there, called a starter or a bull. He'd place that steel chisel on the face of that limestone or copper ore, collar it or start that hole, strike that steel, turn it, strike it, turn it, strike it, and turn it. Do that for about an hour, trade off with this partner for 10-hour shifts right there. Once you got that steel in there, about 10 or 11 inches, they would pull it back out, then grab more, longer lengths of steel to make this hole deeper. But with the longer lengths, it was a two-man job to drill this hole now. One man would stand here and hold that steel and turn it between the strikes. His partner now grabs anywhere from 8 to 16 pound double jack, stands back there and drives that in.
Yeah, people don't
Now,
say
were these men, did they have trust issues involved? Were they well coordinated? You bet they were, guys, right there. But they get, about 4 or 5 holes, maybe 3 feet deep, load that with dynamite, blow out about 1.5 tons of ore, take it back up to the surface through that tunnel right there. Very slow, very labor intensive, but that's the best technology they had here, guys, from 1878, 79, 1880s right there. Now, what were they looking for down here? We're gonna come right over here. Let's see if you can get, I don't know if you can get a good shot of this or not. But if you, rest of you folks will keep your lights down for a second, not the camera lights, but anyway, see that pretty green splash of rock right there?
Yeah.
That's a little bit of the copper ore left in there called malachite, and that would have filled this cavity more or less right there. When they smelted that down in Bisbee here up to about 1920s, in a copper smelter that sits where the mine tour building is now, and we used to be a copper smelter, it ran anywhere from about 18 to 24, 25% copper. That isn't heard of in the state of Arizona today, guys. The major copper, in my time mining, mined less than 1% copper and making good money at it. So Bisbee was definitely a very, very high grade copper mine back in the day. Now, if you want to get a better picture of that copper, I want you 4 or 3 to stand right about where I'm circling my light.
Okay.
And take a look right above you guys. Right up in there.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. a bigger
Oh,
mass of
wow.
green copper right up in there.
Yeah.
I'll keep my light on it or take it away, whatever you guys think about how it's going to turn out on the camera.
The videos actually turn out pretty good with the light on.
Okay, good
Yeah.
right there.
Nice.
Pretty cool. And another shot, guys, even better than that. You're going to kind of have to bend over, hunker down. Again, we can't show this on the regular tours, but you got some nice more copper ore right back in that seam right there.
Oh,
that you
yeah, I
left.
see it.
Let me get out of y'all's way right there.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's the story of Bisbee in the early days, was that malachite ore like that, guys. Very high grade. Also a lot of residual gold and silver byproducts came out of these mines here in Bisbee also.
Gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, with the old hammer and
Wow.
chisel. But you got to stop and think too, folks. I tell my tours this. You know, I give different tours all the time, so I'm gonna get myself bored up here.
Yeah.
But guys, 1880s time, they did not live in the stat world like we do nowadays. These guys were getting paid 35 cents an hour, which was real good wages up to about 1910 right there. They were moving slow, hammer and chisel, taking the ore up there by buckets and sacks, wherever else they could right there. No mules or trains out here yet. It was actually a really good livelihood for them. Paid well, hard work for sure. You know,
Oh.
better believe it. But here
Yeah.
again, it was a different world back in those days. They
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
learn a
my
lot.
father-in-law worked very hard in the mines.
Yeah, up to the Bisbee's kind of frozen in time.
It is.
This little equipment we had, we were riding on, was even antique in the 1970s when they shut her down. You know. I think we're gonna get out of here. We'll hop on the train this way.
All right.
I'll ride back down to the second green light. You see, we're right down there and spend about 15 to 20 minutes back there talking about different processes of mining.
Cool. Okay.
Nah, I'm not gonna walk back and shut that door. I'll leave it open for right now. Lazy. You get your compadres coming down the steps here now. Okay.
All right.
step off on your left-hand side. Just follow me right back here.
All right.
Just watch your shins on these wheels. Be very careful. Oh, yeah, right there. Yeah. Get this on audio, guys. Copper Queen mine, like any real mine, guys, in real life, always has 2 ways in and 2 ways out for safety. That's our alternate route right over there. If we had to get out of here, guys, we could not come in the way we did, or get out the way we came in. We'd walk right down there and wind up right on the side of Highway 80. So not quite what you see in the movies, guys. Mines always have 2 ways in and 2 ways out. Probably more than that, but just for safety right there. Right on down. Don't trip on your tracks, folks. They kind of stick up. I'm gonna do this way different than I usually do right here, guys. Okay, folks, give you a better idea where we're at. Just kind of hang out right in there. We're now 1,500 feet back in this mountain with about 800 feet of limestone above our heads. Picture this whole mountain, man, like a block of Swiss cheese mined from the inside out. Just, a bunch of holes and mining areas like with the slopes we came from. We're on the 3rd level. There are a total of 7 major levels in here. We're not going to walk all of them, that's for sure. It would take all day long. But there's 4 more above us at 100-foot intervals, and also 2 more down below. The levels, like the 3rd level, guys, were just to get in here. The mining was done mainly up or above the levels right there. So you have a lot of sub-levels in here between. If the ore was being mined up above us, guys, they would have to drop that ore down here to get it out. You have 4 transfer chutes, guys. But think of this as one big transfer back there. These chutes go back in this mountain about 12 feet. 12 feet back there, and this is the real deal. Picture this tunnel, twice bigger than it is, going straight up vertically. Men up there on the levels would dump the ore in this transfer chute, filling up this one big transfer chute. Men down here would spot or center these cars underneath the transfer chute like this one is. Take a big old long piece of pipe, pull down, put it over that handle for leverage, pull down on that pipe, would push that door up, put about 2,000 pounds or 1 ton of ore in here, shut that chute back off, and then again, guys, especially in 1911, they were physically pushing these cars out to the surface right there.
Wow.
It wasn't all the way out there, guys. They would take them back to the shaft right there, drop them down, and then take them up in our parking lot. That mine doesn't exist anymore. You guys need to get a good picture of this right here, guys. When you open this chute, that's that malachite right there, ladies and gentlemen, coming out of here. That malachite will be taken out of this mine, this particular spot, sent to a rock crusher. They'll crush that down to about the size, about 1/2 inch size. Take it to a smelter and smelt it down right there. It would be about 98% pure copper, but there's still one more step. From the smelter, it went to the refinery. The refinery would further smelt that down using some other processes. This copper ore would come out of the refinery about 99.9% pure, then the world's market for sale right there. But the interesting note, guys, on this particular mountain right here, up to about 1911, the ore they took out of the impurities in that refinery were the good stuff. They kept the silver and the gold right there. I think Bisbee put out about 2.8 million ounces of gold in 97 years as a byproduct, and well over 100,000 ounces of silver, guys. So even though it didn't pay the bills, it sure went a long ways to put a lot of groceries on a lot of people's tables right there. We got something that looks like a big old gold nugget. I'll set it right on top of there. It's about as heavy as one. This is a mineral of copper called chalcopyrite. This is more or less a mainstay of Arizona's copper industry here in 2023. Like I say, this in the state of Arizona, this rock has put a lot of people's young ones to college, put a lot of groceries on the table, paid off their houses and their cars. All 3 of the above, guys. I spent 34 years working for Phelps Dodge Mining Company, nowadays known as Freeport-McMoran. So here, still in 2023, this is a very important mineral in the state of Arizona, this chalcopyrite. Okay.
This thing looks incredible. Looks like a giant piece of gold.
If you look at that real close with what they call a pocket microscope or a pocket loop, you can start seeing the little purple and copper colors in that rock right there. But you can't see it in this particular piece with your naked eye, though, unfortunately. Usually we have a hard time keeping specimens, guys, because people rip them off and down here, unfortunately. And that thing right there.
That's kind of greenish color.
Yeah, I got a green tint to it, yes.
Wow. I love rocks.
We got some of the old hand drilling in 1880s, guys, up in the stove. We have some more modern drills. I'm talking about 1890s and 1945. Here again, these drills were used to drill holes for blasting. These are two Gardner Denver liner drifters. They run off compressed air or pneumatic drive right there. We have a 1945 air leg or jack leg right here. They came out in 1945. A lot of technological advantage from point A to point B. Those liners or drifters weigh about 300 pounds apiece. It would take them 3 or 4 sets of steels to drill about a 7-foot hole. 1945, guys, you have a compressed cylinder right on the drill, pushing that in right there. Also, you have a carbide steel tip right on there, guys. That would allow them to drill that whole hole with this one piece of steel 7 foot long right there. So it'd take anywhere from, 15 to 20 to 30 minutes to drill one hole with those liners. Take you about 10 to 15 minutes with this air leg right here.
How loud would this have been in the mine when they were using it?
Incredibly loud. Yeah, I've actually run these guys right here, these air legs right here. They're well above 85 decibels. And that's what's required for human being hearing protection. Anything above that's required, guys, and they're well above that right there. I couldn't give you an exact number right there, but here again, air operated. This also has water suppression, has a water hose on it, guys. What that water suppression does, you see that little hole right in the middle of that bit, guys?
Yeah.
That water squirts right out like a fire hose. That would suppress all that dust this drill was putting out. Because these things are very loud and very dusty, they sure are. Now we talked a little bit about drilling. Let's talk about blasting right down here. If you would follow me right down here, folks. I'm trying to figure out how to do this pretty quick. A typical blast face they would use in Bisbee, Arizona, guys. They have about 21 holes drilled, but you can't blow up anything underground. You want to bring everything in the middle. You'd have your shortest fuse in the middle, that very center hole, guys, with 4 empties right around it. When that first hole detonated, it would fracture that rock right out those 4 empties all the way back in there. You got a whole bunch of stored energy, so this rock would actually fly out of here. So what do they have now? Just an empty cavity right there. Your next 4 longer fuses are right around there in a circle with real tough limestone around it. So when this detonates next, instead of breaking out through all this tough limestone, it's got an empty hole, about 1 inch. When that detonates, it fractures into that crack, that open hole. This one would fracture down to it, and that'll fracture across and up. So about the next 2 or 3 seconds, they got a 24-inch diameter hole, guys, 7 foot back. But now the rock has somewhere to go. It all crams into there, implosion instead of shooting out. When it did that, it would create another empty gap right around it for your next detonation to implode into that, and so on and so forth. Always bringing the rock into the middle, guys, instead of shooting it out. Because if you shot this or actually exploded this rock out, it would take your timber support down, maybe cave some of this mountain down on top of you. All bad, guys. So you want to implode underground instead of explode right there. What's actually happening here is your center cavity is continually expanding outwards in all directions. Boom, 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 like that. Boom, boom, boom. The rock from all directions will continually fall into your ever-expanding center cavity. How neat is that, man?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And if your dad worked here as an actual miner, he was very familiar with this 5-hole burn pattern right there.
I'm sure my father-in-law was.
Mm-hmm. Father-in-law, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
right there.
he worked in a lot of mines. He followed mining all over.
Right in here, yeah. Good, good, good.
And I know he worked for Phelps Dodge, I think.
Oh, and if you worked here, you
Because
worked
I've
for Phelps
heard
Dodge.
of
You sure did.
PD many times.
Yes,
Phelps
man, you
Dodge.
sure did, yeah. The little Phelps Dodge logo, I still got it on my hard hat right there, man. Right there.
Make sure you get that.
Guys, this is how they got in and out of the vertical shafts right here. This is actually an underground elevator and shaft. The miners called it a cage for very obvious reasons. Now, we do have this shaft filled in and cemented across with iron beams for safety. None of us is going to fall in this shaft. It's all filled in. Kind of cool. The old 1-inch cable still hanging up there, guys, but it's not hooked up. That's made for 11 men to stand in.
11.
That's kind of hard, shorter and thinner back in those days. Partner. They sure were right there, yeah. No, I don't know if they were or not, guys.
So that 1-inch cable would pull 11 men up in that.
Yeah, right there, up and down right there,
Wow.
guys. Safer than you think, though, guys, in the 1890s and 1910 right there. Those cages, from my understanding, would travel about 3 inches away from that rock wall with not a whole lot of protection, just those little iron gates in the middle right there. But what happens if that cable broke, guys? Will those men fall to their deaths? No. Let's step right back over here. This is pretty cool. Let's get right in here, guys. These cages, the runners, what they slid up and down on are just wooden beams right here. Well, there's one on the other side just like this. They're made out of mahogany because mahogany didn't have any knots. You see these weird little dogs or shoes right there. They'd be in the opposite direction. They'd be pulled up right there, and that spring would always want to pull them down, but they'd be locked into the up position. because of there's a bar going through and they're hooked to that main cable. So if that cable broke, these springs had enough tension to pull that serrated edge down and dig them right into that wood.
It's like it acts like a brake.
You wouldn't drop more than an inch, guys.
Wow.
And that was a huge invention and a huge lifesaver, guys, in the late 1880s right there. Well, actually, probably a little earlier than that, probably 1870s.
Giant brake
right there.
pads.
That's
Exactly
crazy.
Right. Exactly right. Yeah, they would use steel runners later on, but the purpose was still the same, guys, right there.
So the design pretty much stayed the same years after?
Yes, they did, actually. They sure did. Up until they used this equipment, guys, until in 1975, and when they shut the last mines down here in Bisbee for good. Why are we stuck with all this old antique equipment down here? You know, for the simple fact, when they came out of World War II, Phelps Dodge, they knew Bisbee had a certain limit. They knew it was a dying mine, a certain amount of ore left. So instead of putting and building up their infrastructure in this mine, they took all that money and built Morenci, Arizona, Tyrone, New Mexico, mines like that. And that's why Bisbee's left with all this cool stuff right there. It's frozen in time down in here with those 1920 man cars and stuff like that.
Awesome.
And they weren't looking forward to this time, guys, but here in 2023, we're thankfully they did. We got a lot of cool old stuff to talk about. Right back in here, guys.
Sure.
We got a jet right here, right there. Last thing of interest, guys, people for some reason are very fascinated by this type of mining car. And this is where the men went pooping right here, guys.
Oh.
Had a lot of names that began with an S, a lot of nicknames, but the correct one for this is sanitation car right here. And they came in the Bisbee mines, guys, and a lot of other mines too in 1916. Before that, they were using a gigantic kitty litter box full of sand and clay for the men to relieve themselves in.
Yeah.
Not very sanitary right there, guys. So,
Yeah.
with the exception of the wheels, the rest of this car was built right here in Bisbee. They brought them down, had the men to use them, and they were a lot easier to take care of than carrying a big old box full of what around. If you notice they're railroad mounted, you could take them right over this cage, take them up the surface, dump them, clean them out, sanitize them, and bring them back down, and you're good to go. One last thing we'll talk about, guys, is what's right above our heads. Timber and the importance it did and still does play in mining to this day. Again, we're about 800 feet underground, guys, and all the timber, the old and new, is Douglas fir and pine. That's kind of weird because Douglas fir and pine is kind of a weak wood. So
Yeah.
why in the world would they use it underground?
Yeah.
They found out worldwide through the history of mining folks that the good oak mahogany wood above us would definitely support more weight, no doubt about that. But it was too strong because it would take the weight and keep taking it until absolutely couldn't take it anymore and then snap and cave in. Men working down below never saw it coming, never knew it hit them, guys. That's why your softer wood, it's a tattletale or an early warning system.
Oh.
When your wood starts taking weight, guys, it'll start to split a week ahead of time. It'll start to lean to the right or left. A couple of days before it caves in, it'll start to make noise, pop, crackle, and snap, just like the cereal did on TV right there. Those men above knew something was going on. Plenty of time to get out of here and get to safety. The old saying in mining was, when the timber starts talking, you start walking in the opposite direction, obviously, right there. Okay. Guys, unfortunately, it's about all we have time for right now. When somebody died in this mine, all the way from 1877 to 1975, the mining company would actually cease mining. They wouldn't mine anymore. They put all their reserves, all their energy into getting that man's body out. So there's not no skeletons or anything left down in here. Thank goodness, right there. Headless John. Let's go on the paranormal side right there. Old legend of Headless John down here. Headless John worked here way back in the 1880s. He got decapitated somehow in an accident down here. Nobody knows exactly how. But since then, he's been searching for his head ever since. He can't find it because he doesn't have eyes, but anyway. crosscut our timber duck right there? One of our timber ducks.
Oh, I see it goes up.
Yeah, that's cool.
Gee, so that's where they drop the timber down here through the ducts up top.
That's crazy.
But look at that right there.
You wanna run in there and play? The headless dude is probably sitting in there, tying his shoes.
He's looking at you. He's gonna follow you home.
It's like Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah. If you're here, follow Darrell home.
Yeah, we'll play headless football. Brand new axe right there.
I was using that sucker the other day, actually.
That red axe?
Yeah, that one back there, that new one.
Yeah.
Some wedges back in that wood right there.
Cool.
Mommy?